The gym thundered with the sound of fists colliding with pads. Each punch cracked through the air like a whip, sharp and unforgiving. The students struggled to keep pace with their instructor, their arms heavy, their breath ragged. At the center stood Derek, the undefeated champion, the gym's owner, and a man who had built his entire reputation on fear as much as skill. Every movement radiated power. Every command came out like an order from a general. "Again!" Derek shouted, pacing with folded arms. "If you can't keep up, get out. Weakness has no place here." The students obeyed, driven not by passion, but by dread. In the corner, sweeping quietly, was James. To everyone, he was just the janitor, the man who worked late shifts to clean up sweat, chalk, and trash. His back was bent, his uniform faded, his hands roughened by years of unnoticed labor. Few students spared him more than a glance. But Derek noticed him, not with respect, but with ridicule. "Careful with that mop," Derek sneered one night, loud enough for the whole gym. "Wouldn't want you pulling a muscle, old man." Laughter followed. James never responded. He kept working, silent and steady. Among the students, Sarah noticed the exchanges. She had joined the gym for strength, but every time Derek mocked James, she felt the sting of injustice. Something in James's quiet eyes suggested there was more to him than anyone realized. Then came the night when Derek, restless after class, turned his taunts into a challenge. "You've been watching us for months, old man," Derek called. "I bet you think you've picked up a few tricks. Why don't you step on the mat? Show us what you've got." The students froze. Sarah muttered under her breath, "This isn't right." James paused, leaned his mop against the wall, and slowly turned. For the first time, his calm gaze locked onto Derek's. There was no fear, no hesitation, only silence. It was enough to unsettle even Derek. The janitor wasn't just a janitor anymore. Something was about to happen. The gym seemed to shrink under the weight of that stare. Derek smirked, masking his unease. "What's the matter? Cat got your tongue?" He taunted. "Step up, one round. You're not afraid of a little spar, are you?" The students whispered among themselves. Some shook their heads, others grinned with anticipation. James finally spoke, his voice low but steady. "Respect isn't earned by mocking others, Derek." The words landed heavy. Derek laughed. "Respect? You're in my gym. You clean my floors. That's all the respect you'll ever get." Sarah stepped forward, her tone sharp. "Enough, Derek. You're crossing the line." But Derek waved her off. "Stay out of this. Tonight, we see if our janitor can do more than sweep." The students formed a circle, phones out, ready to record. Sarah bit her lip but couldn't stop what was coming. James removed his gloves, then his faded jacket. Beneath the worn clothes, his posture shifted, shoulders squared, back straight. His presence grew. Suddenly, he didn't look like a tired old janitor. He looked like someone who had trained someone who belonged. Derek stretched his neck, grinning. "This'll be quick." The match began. Derek lunged first, fast and aggressive. His fist cut through the air toward James's jaw. But in one smooth motion, James sidestepped, light on his feet, letting the punch sail past. The crowd gasped. Derek blinked, surprised. He swung again, harder. James ducked, then tapped Derek's chest with an open palm, a strike too fast and precise to ignore. Derek stumbled back. His smirk faltered. The whispers grew. "Wait, does he know how to fight?" Sarah's eyes widened. She already suspected, but seeing it confirmed left her breathless. Derek growled, charging again, his punches wild with frustration. James didn't meet power with power. He deflected, redirected, letting Derek's force collapse on itself. Each dodge, each movement, spoke of discipline, of training beyond anything Derek could imagine. The students were no longer laughing. Finally, James caught Derek's wrist mid-strike, twisted, and in one motion brought him to the mat. The crash echoed through the gym. Derek gasped, pinned, helpless. The silence was deafening. James released him and stepped back. His voice was calm, steady. Strength isn't about domination. It's about control. About respect. Derek, humiliated, scrambled to his feet, rage burning in his eyes. "This isn't over," he snarled. But the room knew the truth. Something had shifted forever. Derek couldn't let it go. His pride had been bruised in front of his own students. For days he obsessed, replaying the moment James had dropped him with ease. The whispers in the gym only made it worse. "Did you see the janitor? He moved like a pro." Derek didn't stand a chance. Derek trained harder, angrier. His need to prove himself grew into obsession. One evening, he confronted James again. The gym was packed. "This time, no games," Derek barked. "A real fight. No holding back." Sarah protested. "Derek, stop. You're making a fool of yourself. You don't understand who you're dealing with." But Derek ignored her. The challenge was set. The match began, and instantly, it was different. Derek unleashed everything: speed, power, aggression. But James remained composed, his movements a masterclass in discipline. Every strike Derek threw, James countered with precision. Every attempt to overpower was neutralized. The crowd wasn't cheering Derek anymore. They were silent, awestruck. Then came the moment. Derek lunged with a reckless kick. James pivoted, swept Derek's leg, and in a blur had him on the ground, pinned once again. But this time, James didn't let go immediately. His eyes burned with quiet intensity as he spoke. "Your strength means nothing without humility. Your title, your victories, they don't define you. Respect does. And tonight, you've lost it." The words cut deeper than any punch. The students watched in stunned silence. Sarah stepped forward, her voice soft but resolute. "You wanted to see who James really is. Now you know." Derek lay still, the weight of humiliation crushing him more than James's hold ever could. James released Derek and stood tall. The room remained silent, all eyes fixed on him. For the first time, the students didn't see a janitor. They saw a teacher, a fighter, a man of wisdom and restraint. Derek staggered to his feet, pride shattered. He couldn't meet anyone's eyes. For the first time, he looked small in his own gym. Sarah approached James. "Who are you?" she asked softly. James's expression was calm. "Someone who walked this path before you. I fought in rings, I faced champions. But life taught me that strength without respect destroys more than it builds. So I left it behind. Now, I just clean floors. And watch." The students exchanged stunned glances. The man they had ignored for months was a master hiding in plain sight. Slowly, respect replaced ridicule. Some bowed. Others whispered apologies. Sarah smiled faintly, relieved that truth had finally surfaced. As for Derek, he slipped away quietly, his legacy forever scarred. But whether he learned from the moment or let bitterness consume him, that was a story yet to be told. James picked up his mop once more, returning to his quiet work. But now, every sweep carried new weight. To the students, he wasn't invisible anymore. He was the reminder of what true strength looked like. And for those who watched that night, the lesson burned deep. Power fades. Respect endures. And so, the janitor taught the undefeated fighter the one thing he had never learned inside the ring: humility. A story not just about fists and pride, but about the strength it takes to respect others. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Share it. Talk about it. Leave your thoughts below. And remember, every story has the power to change the way we see the world. Like, subscribe, and join us for more stories that reveal the truths hidden in plain sight.